what you have heard right up to this point has rattled you, look on the code, make a contribution, fund this liberation movement, mobilize. In the diaspora, our people are getting ready to go back to the streets. You will begin to see the huge crowds of our people out on the streets again because we have gotten to the turning point of this liberation movement. Don't stay on the sidelines. Do something. Don't stay and be complaining in your bedroom under the table. Do something. Do something. Do something. Don't wait. Don't wait. Do something. I said, do something. If you cannot contribute using amberrelief2018@gmail.com, you want to have a dedicated manner of making your contribution, reach out to me on the WhatsApp number you are seeing. WhatsApp only. Reach out to me on the WhatsApp number and I will guide you how. My dear people of Amazonia, thank you for being part of this broadcast. Share the link and share as much as you can if you're just joining because you're still on the GMA connection. Thank you. So my people, you're welcome back. Elekam has done it. Of course, we did not expect Elekam to do something different. We had always expected Elekam to do it this way, to do what they have just done. So today, this 26th day of July, 2025, Elekam published their list. The list of candidates that they have retained for the presidential election. And if you must know, they used another Southern Cameroonian. That's also a guy who at the time we actually knew was a man of integrity. Eno Abrams Egbe. I recall the last time I had an interaction with Eno Abrams Egbe, we were flying together from Yaoundé to Lagos. And we stopped in Lomé. Eno Abrams Egbe and I were so horrified at the infrastructure at the Douala airport. He wanted to eat himself because that's actually where we met for. We realized that we were going on board the same aircraft. The toilet was horrible, totally broken and everything. But when we had a stopover at the Nyasimbe Eyadema International Airport in Togo, we were both like, oh my goodness, look at the difference. Togo, that is reputed the poorest country in the world. They've had a better airport. They have a better airport than the Douala International Airport. But Eno Abrams Egbe is the instrument being used to make sure a Sangobinatan like Paul Biya and his band of corrupt genocide enablers continue to stay in place in the Republic of Cameroon. So that list, therefore, indicates that Maurice Kamto, who is by all indications the front runner in that presidential election, is not going to run, according to Elekam, right up to this point. So the names that you see there, some very obscure names that you don't even know. Ateki Seta Caxton. He's of the party de l'Alliance Libérale, PAL. I don't know if he has a parliamentarian. Bello Bouba Maigari, Union Nationale pour la Démocratie et le Progrès. That's someone who just resigned from the government. I will come to that. Biya Paul, Rassemblement Démocratique du Peuple Camerounais. There were two candidates for the CPDM. What criteria did they use to eliminate the other person's candidature? Because, of course, the CPDM did not organize a congress. Number 4, Boura Hakbe Jean, Mouvement Citoyen National Camerounais, another obscure name. Zipan Ile Marquet, Mouvement Progressiste. Oh, That party, Mouvement Progressiste, I think that party used to belong to Jean-Jacques Ekindi. Issa Chiroma, of course, Bakari, Front pour le salut national du Cameroun. Iyodi Hiram Samuel, Front des démocrates camerounais. Kwemo Pierre, Union des mouvements socialistes, UMS. Libili Inge Cabral. Don't forget that with Cabral Libi, there's been a serious fight as to who is the real person that owns that political party. And Atanga Ponji has been very clear. Atanga Ponji has been very, unmitigating in his statement, saying that he is the one who even negotiated with the owner of that political party to give a hand to Cabral Libi, meaning, of course, you should understand right from this point that Cabral Libi is there as an apparatchik of the ruling CPDM party of Mr. Paul Biya. Next, Matomba Serge Espoir, Peuple Uni pour la Rénovation Sociale, PURS. That is the man who has been saying Bamilikins should not even exist. Mouna Akere Taben, Univers. Mouna Akere, my dear brother, he was here in the United States of America to hold a rally, and he hardly had over 30 people in the hall. I guess Akere Mouna is hanging in there, is going in there to prepare himself to set up himself for a deal at the end of the election, because he's also advanced already in age, and so therefore he might be telling himself, let me try to look for an opportunity that I may also have my own food and eat just before I join my ancestors. Osi Joshua Nambangi, Social Democratic Front SDF, no stakes. Osi Joshua, no stakes. You saw what happened about the Secretary General of the party, or former Jean, Tomolo or whatever, who was also senator on behalf of the SDF in the West region, decamped with all of the members of his bureau to join the National Union for Democracy and Progress, or the NUDP party of Bello Boba Maigari. So Osina Joshua, or Osina Bangi, Osina Joshua, Osi Joshua Nambangi is leading an empty shell, because that's exactly how the guys in Bafo resigned described the party. That's a tune coquille vide, an empty shell. So no stakes, no worries. Only going in there to help to indicate that at least there were many parties and there was a real election. Next, Tomaino Ermin Patricia Epuzo Namjoya. Of course, she's a strong woman. Tomaino Namjoya is a strong woman. But of course, she's also placed there because they need to show that there are some people from the West to tell the people of the West, you don't need to be fighting so much about Kamto. There are people from the West region who are there as candidates. So they will say they have Tomaino Ermin Patricia Epuzo Ndamjoya, who is from the Nun. And then they will say they have Kwemo Pierre, who is from Bafang, from the Opankam division of La République du Cameroun. So they will say, no, il y a deux candidats de l'Ouest, and all of those things, and all that. Listen, folks, I want to tell you this. Don't think this is the end. This is not the end. Because after this, when Elekan publishes this, there is the Constitutional Council that is going to receive petitions for people protesting against the decision made by Elekan. And it is the Constitutional Council that will have the final say, the list that will come out of the Constitutional Council after they would have purged or they would have gone through all the petitions will be the final list of the candidates who will stand for the October 12th presidential election in La République du Cameroun. But you know that a few days ago, just a few days ago, the same Constitutional Council, manned by this gentleman, Clement Atanga, examined a petition put in by Maurice Kamto, who said, by convening the electoral body, the president of the Republic of La République, or the president of La République Cameroun, say the Republic of La République Cameroun, the president of La République du Cameroon had violated the law because he was convening an inexistent electoral body. The reason he put forth was that the electoral list had not been made published. So you don't even know who is eligible to vote. You don't even know the number of people who are eligible to vote. So who are you convening to the polls? And Maurice Kamto was praying the Constitutional Council to annul, to declare that presidential decree null and void. But of course, Clement Atanga sat together with his people and they didn't take any time before ruling on that. And the rule, it was easy to do so. They just said the Constitutional Council was not competent. Oh my goodness, this is so sweet. Listen, folks, there is no other body higher than the Constitutional Council. The only body that will determine the constitutionality of laws. The only body with the powers of final say to determine whether a presidential decree violated the law, whether an act of the president violated the law, whether anything that had been taken violated the Constitution, is the Constitutional Council. When the Constitutional Council declares itself incompetent, good Jesus Christ, where then should they go? To God. It means only God can take care of it. Right from that moment, if anyone was sensible, you would have understood that Maurice Kamto was not going to be shortlisted by Eleka. You even saw the machinations that went on behind the scenes. That previously, on the website of the Ministry of Territorial Administration, on the section talking about political parties of Cameroon, the political party known as Manidem was identified with an elder Anicet Ekane as its president. And a decision taken and signed by Atanga Ponji himself indicated that in the fight that was going on in that party for leadership between Anicet Ekane and Yebga, that it was Anicet Ekane who was recognized. This was issued by Atanga Ponji and it was published on the website of that ministry. So, when the civil cabinet of the presidency of La République du Cameroon, in connivance with Atanga Ponji, went and pulled and encouraged Yebga to come out from the blues and express his candidature so that there will be two candidates for the Manidem, so that it will become easy to say that there is infighting as to who is the leader of the Manidem. And the Manidem has presented two candidates, meaning that both candidates will be rejected, both candidatures will be rejected. Atanga G had forgotten to go and modify that stuff on the website. Finally, when they published this, and a screenshot of the website was shown to the public, Atanga Ponji shamelessly went ahead and updated that website and replaced that document with a new document saying it was Yebga was recognized as the chairman of the Manidem, and turned around and said some people had hacked the website of the Ministry of Territorial Administration. You joke with Atanga Ponji. I've told you people that the one that will help us set La République du Cameroon ablaze is Atanga Ponji. And Atanga Ponji, kudos, he's living up to his belief. So therefore, it has come to pass that Elekam at first instance has said Maurice Kamto will not be candidate for the October 12, 2025 presidential election. And so, Elekam had a lot of time ahead of it to take this decision. They could have waited right up to the 11th of August. The law gives them all that time to take that decision. But they decided to take it now, very fast, For one obvious reason, they needed to test the waters. They need to test the waters and see what people will do. I say they need to do what? To test the waters. Because they have seen this. No Kamto, no vote. Non à l'acharnement contre Maurice Kamto. So they have seen this. And they said if they wait until the last minute, they will not have enough time to quell the people, to teach the people a lesson, to subdue them so that calm will return and enable them to carry out their electoral banditry in peace. So they saw this. That's why they came out with this decision very fast. Now, and because they came out with this decision now, they know that the only other thing that Maurice Kamto has to do is go before Clement Atanga and this gang of idiots that you see here. And so this gang of idiots have already been prepared also to rule very fast and to say that Maurice Kamto is not candidate. And they will come out with the final list of candidates without Maurice Kamto. Take note, please. With this, no Kamto, no vote, they say, okay, il a une voix de recours. They want to see that Maurice Kamto will rather go to the Constitutional Council and be hoping that the Constitutional Council will restore his candidature. During this time, the temperature is going down. During this time, the temperature is going down. During this time, they are observing any pockets of resistance that come and they quell them. If Maurice Kamto and his people, who have sworn fire for fire, do not take to the streets now, do not take the country hostage now, do not begin the spoliation right now, Clement Atanga and his men will receive the final instruction to put the icing on the closure of Maurice Kamto's candidature. But if the tension becomes too much, so unbearable, La République du Cameroon reserve itself that last chance to say, okay, Clement Atanga and his people will be instructed to do what they call repêcher, take Maurice Kamto's candidature out of the dustbin and bring it back to the table and say, oh, Elecam's electoral board did not consider A, they did not consider B, they did not consider D, and so for that reason, we have reinstated Maurice Kamto's candidature. That will be if the streets become so hot and the country gets to the brink. They will do that. But if the people go lie on their laurels and they are waiting, Clement Atanga will be told, you see, Atanga was right. Because prior to this decision from Elecam's electoral body coming out, Atanga Ponji had already gone out with a strongly worded press release, daring anybody to get out onto the streets. I say he dared anyone to try and come out to the streets that they are protesting whatsoever, and they will be taught a lesson of their lives. Atanga Ponji is not mincing words in this press release. He is swearing fire for fire. Atanga said, let anybody just dare come out on the streets. According to the term of that release, he says, le ministre de l'administration territoriale rappelle avec fermeté que la République du Cameroun est un état de droit, doté d'institutions solides, d'un système judiciaire indépendant et de services spécialisés pleinement mobilisés pour faire respecter l'ordre républicain. Did you hear that? So Atanga Ponji is warning and telling them they will use every instance at their disposal to teach anyone that gets onto the streets a lesson if the candidature of their cheerleader is not validated. You'll be asking yourself, but why is it Atanga? Why is the activist? You are not hearing the Delegate General for National Security, who is the one controlling the police court talking. You are not hearing the Minister of Defense, who is the one controlling the forces. talking. You are not hearing the Secretary of State at the Ministry of Defense in charge of the Gendarmerie talking. No, it is Atanga Ponji. You are not hearing Rene Emmanuel Sadi, Minister of the Communication, who is the government spokesperson. No, it's Atanganji, the activist, talking. There have been elections, a lot of elections in La République du Cameroon. There have been ministers of territorial administration. Not any time at all have we seen a minister of territorial administration become the minister of defense, become the delegate general for national security, become the director general of external research, become the secretary of state at the Ministry of Defense in charge of the Gendarmerie, become the minister of justice, keeper of the thieves, become the minister of communications, spokesperson of the government. We have never seen that. It is only this time. Atanga combines all of those things in himself alone. So therefore, the ground was sufficiently prepared before this, what they call in French, coup de force from Eleka. Before Eleka came out with this, they had already started the repression machinery. They tried to cut the head of what they expect to be the resistance, so that at the base, they will have no resistance. And you know, they are not stupid. They made sure that to guarantee that there will be no noise in the northern region at this time. Listen, La République du Cameroon has a mastery of what they call divide and rule. If you have not understood exactly what happened with this list did not come out with those names on it by error. They want to go by the elimination method. First, at this stage, eliminate Maurice Kamto, who, from all indications, is clearly the front runner. But make sure you isolate him and the Bamileke bloc that they believe should be routing for him to be on their own, the only bloc to deal with at this time. Recall what Otto von Bismarck said, don't attack a war on many fronts at the same time. So, that is why they did not invalidate the candidatures of Issa Chiruma Bakari and Bello Buba Maigari. They know where they will handle them. They will handle them by rigging the vote. At this stage, because if they eliminated their candidatures at this time, they will have a war on many fronts. They needed first to go by the elimination method. They take out Maurice Kamto. The people of the north are contented, their candidates are there. The people of the three northern regions are contented, their candidates are there. They are guaranteed to be calm now, according to La République du Cameroon. In the west, they make sure in the open camp, they maintain the candidature of Kwemo. In the noon, where there could also be agitations, of course, they maintain the candidature of Tumaino Damjoya. For the southern Cameroons, they are bringing in Akeremona and O.C. Joshua Nambangi as gap fillers. That's what they've always been, and that's what they will be. And so at this point, they are guaranteed that they will not have a lot of people to contend with at this stage. So they want to watch. They come to have an appeal across the national territory that the people could go out to fight for him everywhere. If the tension becomes too much, the Constitutional Council will come to the rescue by reiterating Kamto's candidature. Then they move on to Plan B. This is Plan A. So you see, before doing that, they want that if anybody gets onto the street, you will hear it. And to do like they did with the Southern Cameroon's question in January of 2017, they needed to identify some people who can become a problem and go after them. That's why you see here, you have this gentleman who is, an able-bodied lieutenant for Maurice Kamto. His name, I'm getting to get that technical team, please get that to my personal monitor. Okay, yep, I can see his name here now. Okay, good. This gentleman, his name is Ngachu Michel Rugero. Ngachu Michel Rugero. So Ngachu Michel Rugero, is a kingpin in Maurice Kamto's MRC party. So they already sent out an avis de recherche. This is very much an arrest warrant for him. And they say, il y a lieu de rechercher activement sur toute l'étendue du territoire national et particulièrement dans les régions du littoral et de l'Ouest et leurs environs, le nommé Ngachu Michel Rouguero. L'intéressé fait l'objet d'une procédure en cours à la direction de la police judiciaire pour discours haineux, incitation à la désobéissance civile et appel à l'insurrection. So, they are chasing him because they say he's calling for an insurrection. Did you hear that? That is calling for an insurrection. Yeah, for an insurrection. He is not the only one. There is also another one called Mathieu Yubi. I did not get that one on time. Mathieu Yubi, they say l'intéressé fait l'objet d'une procédure en cours à la direction de la police judiciaire pour incitation à la désobéissance civile et appel à l'insurrection sur les réseaux sociaux. That one, his name is Mathieu Yubi, and they say his contact is 675-50-5030. So, they say en cas de découvert, interpeller le conduit sous bonne escorte dans un poste de police ou de gendarmerie le plus proche. That is Michel Yubi. All of these people that they are after are Babiliki people. If you make an error right there. So, and that is not all. The next person they are going after is Albert Nzongam. Albert Nzongam. This is what they say. Honneur vous notifier. That's message radio fax. Confidential. This issue today, the 25th of July, 2025. I don't know, that was yesterday, Friday, the 25th of July. They knew what was going to happen today, the 26th. So they were already taking all these measures. Honneur vous notifier. Interdiction sortie territoire national, Monsieur Albert Nzongam. Conseiller spécial Maurice Kamto. Procéder retrait passeport camerounais en sa possession. Rendre compte immédiatement toute tentative sortie intéressée par voie aérienne, terrestre, maritime, urgence hautement signalée. Signe, Dr. Jean-Louis Messing, directeur de la police des frontières. So you see, this is for who? Albert Nzongam. They say they should withdraw his passport. It is forbidden for him to leave the national territory. All of these people, they say, pour insurrection. Did you hear? And they had previously sent out one for Hawa Aja, the lady from the far north or from the northern regions, who said Paul Biya himself has not announced a candidature. The lady who had previously insulted Issa Chiruma beyond imagination, and then turned around and descended on Ferdinand Bongo, and they put up an arrest warrant for her. But hers is not a problem. But you notice one peculiarity here. Aside from Hajar, who is featherweight, the real people they are after are Bamileke people. Did you realize that they did not send an arrest warrant for Abubakar Usman May? No, there is no arrest warrant for Abubakar Usman May. Goes back to comfort what I just explained to you a while ago. They are taking the fight step by step. Step by step. Divide and rule. These are Bamileke people. I had reminded Bamileke people from day one, from the start of our own liberation movement, that just like the people of the southern Cameroon were considered subhumans, so were they too. But these Bamileke people, it did not dawn on them. Bamileke people, especially in Bamenda, under the coordination of the colonial governor, the Ben Chofo, Lele Lafik de Ben Chofo, contributed a lot of money to give to the government of La République du Cameroon to use in killing the people of the southern Cameroons. Now the manhunt for the Bamileke people has started. Where are you going to run to? Will you not be running to the same southern Cameroons, the same people you stood up to support that they should kill? We had a few Bamileke brothers, I will never forget them, who even contributed to foster this liberation movement, who were enlightened, who were understanding this thing, but there were very few. The grand majority thought, because they were told by La République du Cameroon, that they would be the ones favored to get all the businesses in the southern Cameroons. That as long as they kept the southern Cameroons as colonial territory for the Republic du Cameroon, the people that will benefit most are the Bamileke people. Yes. And so the Bamileke people contributed a lot of money, tons of money, to give to the government of the Republic du Cameroon to fight the people of Ambazonia. Today, it's your turn at the guillotine. I said this thing before. Nobody will be spared. Nobody. And a good chunk of them who were in a position who could say a thing refused to talk. That's why I like Martin Luther King so much. When he said, in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Today, our Bamileke brothers are going to be running helter-skelter everywhere. I've been Zongang now, and all of these people who are being sought after are now fugitives. They call us fugitives. They call us names. They call us all kinds of names. Now, it's your turn at the guillotine. They are now fugitives. They now want to remove his passport. He doesn't have to go anywhere. They are now treasonable individuals. But you don't forget that Joseph Owona, professor of blessed memory, whose son is Matthias Eric Onangini, said, and it was published on the cover page of Le Messager, un Bamileke a étudié jamais. Un Bamileke a étudié jamais. Did you hear that? So if it did not dawn on the Bamileke people, that while they were aiding and abetting La République du Cameroun to visit a genocide on southern Cameroonians, their day of reckoning was on the way. That day is here. That day is here. You recall the same Albert Zonga. Karma is a bitch. The same Albert Zonga who said allowing Frundi, who won the 1992 presidential election, to take up the presidency was like throwing the country in water. He thought he was a de facto citizen because he said he was even the main voice to say never over his dead body. He thought he was a de facto citizen and we were subhumans. Karma is a bitch. Hear him.
Qui avait gagné l'élection de 92?
Frundi. Et qui a triché, nous.
Parmi lesquels vous?
Oui.
Donc
Vous-même?
Moi, je crois que j'étais même l'instigateur. Vous savez la question qui s'est posée?
Laquelle?
On a constaté que Biya avait perdu. Et il s'est posé un véritable dilemme. Nous étions... Je peux citer les morts, mais j'ai peur que les vivants craignent. Nous étions au centre, Fauchivé, à Kamifou, à Madouali, Zemeka, Papa Achou, Achidi Achou.
Achille Achou, oui.
Achidi Achou. Et j'avais dans mon équipe Zéro Mort et Henri Bandelo pour la communication. On a constaté que Biya avait perdu. Et je vous assure...
Dans tout le Cameroun ou seulement à l'ouest ou ailleurs? Au nord-ouest.
Il avait perdu partout. Il avait perdu partout.
Sur le plan général?
Sur le plan général. Dans tout cas, Frundi avait gagné. Alors, il s'est posé un véritable problème. Et c'était là où la conscience de chacun était appelée. Est-ce qu'on va laisser Frundi gouverner ce pays? Première question à tout le monde. Non. On ne peut pas laisser Frundi. Qu'est-ce qu'on fait? On change au profit de Bouba Bello, d'Adamou Damjoya ou de Kindi. Parce que les trois sont potables. On accepte. Mais lui, non. Moi, en tant que fils du pessiste, j'étais Le numéro 1, non.
Qui avait gagné l'élection de
Did
capitaine?
you hear that? Albert Zongang is clear. Frundi won the election. They sat together. They said, what are we going to do? And here the judge is asking, did Frundi win only in the northwest, southwest, or the west, or whatever? He said, no. Frundi won all over the national territory. All over. And he said, and we sat together and said, this is a problem. And he named the people who were there. Jean Fauchive from the Noun. There was himself from Bamileke. They had other people, including Simon Achidiachu. Of course, you always have a black leg there. You always have one of the people there. And they said, never. They could not allow Fundi to run the country. And he said, they said, okay, so who do we give it to? Belububa Maigari, Adamu Ndamjoya, or he called another name, there were three. And they said, yes, any of these other three, yes, he can go, but Fundi, no. Any of those three, because they're citizens of La République du Cameroon. But Fundi, a subhuman, outsider from the colonial territories, jamais. And he says he was the number one no. Now, this is Albert Zonga. History is never kind to anyone who behaves like he did. This is why I take this opportunity always to remind our so-called political elite, those members of the CPDM crime syndicate from the southern Cameroons, history will not be kind to you. And karma, you see, Albert Zonga, history did not wait that he should die first. Karma is visiting him right now. So this is Albert Zonga. This is the monster he created. That is that monster swallowing him up now. Yesterday, he thought that he was a full-blown citizen. Today, they are reminding him that like Fundi, he Zonga is a sub-citizen. Like Fundi, he Zonga is a subhuman. He Zonga, they are reminding him that he is a butterfly who kept thinking itself a bird. This is what it is. My people, it is getting very interesting. I bet you, verily, verily, it's getting interesting. Stay glued here. Now, Atanga Ponji, after going after all these people, after they agreed to go after all these people, they are waiting to see if these youth, these ones that you're about to see, who were in the street singing these songs, if they will dare go out, having heard that Zonga, is it that Zonga, this other guy, they call him what name did I call before? I've forgotten his name. That name is not coming again to my mind. The other gentleman who should be running for his Ngachu Michel Rugero. That if this youth will still go out after hearing that all this, that there is already a manhunt for all these people, these youths.
Le Grand Moulin de Do, jusqu'à Ndokoti, le peuple du changement, marche en scandant Maurice Kamto, sauve-nous. Le peuple du changement est debout. Ceux qui disent que 2025 n'est pas 2025 là. 2025, c'est 2025. On va courir, on va danser votre danse. On va danser votre danse. Paul Biya, Pada. Nous sommes en Dokoti, hein. Nous sommes en Dokoti. Du même système. Maurice Kamto, sauve-nous. Papa, Paul Biya, Pada. Qui le pouvoir. Nous sommes fatigués du même système. Maurice Kamto, sauve-nous. Papa, Paul Biya, incroyable. Le Grand Moulin.
So, as you can see, Atanganji and his folks are now sitting and watching. Will this youth do what they have been saying they will do? Will Maurice Kamto sit up to his belly? Or Maurice Kamto will be sitting there and say, no, I'm a man of law. I will follow the legal channel. I will go first to the Constitutional Council, which has already taught him another lesson. If you are doubting, if you have forgotten what Maurice Kamto said, here he is.
Faisons comme ça, dans la paix, vraiment. Revoyons le code électoral, consensuel, inscrivons, faisons, ça ne donne rien. On va maintenant danser sur votre musique. Nous avons été polis, nous avons été courtois, nous avons supplié, et supplié chaque fois qu'on applique les lois. Nous sommes ceux qui demandent qu'on applique les lois, rien que les lois, depuis 10 ans. Mais pour qui se prennent-ils? Pour qui se prennent-ils? Qu'ont-ils fait pour ce pays, sinon le piller? Qu'ont-ils fait qui leur donne ce droit-là de mépriser les Camerounais? Qu'ont-ils fait? Alors ça suffit. Ça suffit. Je vous le dis, la police, tout ça l'a répercuté. Ouvrez les téléphones qui suivent en direct, qui n'essayent pas en 2027. Parce que, je vous le dis avec le plus grand calme, en 2025, s'ils essayent, ça prendra ce que ça prendra. Les survivants arrangeront le pays.
So did you hear that? Maurice Kamto sat here and vowed that they have pleaded, they have negotiated, they have done all kinds of things, they have gone on their stomachs. This is a message to the people of the Southern Cameroons. This is a message to people like Simon Munzu. A message to people like Nkongo Felix Agbobala. A message to anyone still moving on loitering and calling himself federalist. A message to our clergy that continue to think that they can appeal to the conscience of genocide perpetrators like the Paul Biya system. There's a message to them. Maurice Kamto said we have exhausted all of those. And so in 2025, if they try, we will dance according to their dance. If they try, we will dance to the same rhythm they have been dancing. If they try, we will teach them a lesson. And he ends up saying, if the police are here, the gendarmes are here, open your phones, record so that they should hear. And he said, to put the icing on the cake, Maurice Kamto said, if they dare in 2025, the fire will consume those that it will consume. Only the survivors will stay behind and fix the country. Only what? The survivors will stay behind and fix the country. Beginning today, we will know. Did Maurice Kamto have something he was counting on? Was it Bebe? Bebe? Was it Popo? Was it Vum? Did Maurice Kamto have something he was counting on? Was Maurice Kamto a toothless bulldog? The answer is in the hours ahead. We will be seeing if Maurice Kamto makes the mistake of imagining that he should go first to the Constitutional Council before telling his people to go out to the streets. Sorry. Then the Constitutional Council will never validate his candidature. But if the country begins to burn, if the country descends into an unimaginable upheaval, never before seen, oh yes, it's Atanga who will run to come to the rostrum once more. Atanga Ponji, with all of the farmers, Nongos, and all of those people to be saying that no, Iya encore the voix de recours. No, there is still a way out. The Constitutional Council has not yet spoken. Let's wait for the Constitutional Council. Oh yes, but if they make the mistake of sitting to wait, the mug will be completely spilled out and they'll have nothing to count on. That is why Atanga Ponji preemptively said this follow.
Si je ne suis pas candidat, il y aura le désordre et les survivants vont arranger le Cameroun. Est-ce que c'est sérieux? Quelqu'un vous dit par exemple dans un pays pour qui il y a alternance, il y avait tant nombre de morts, il faut qu'il y ait des gens aussi qui meurent pour qu'il y ait alternance. En ce moment, le Moulinex entre, il fait son travail. Puisqu'il faut faire très
attention. Vous n'avez jamais abandonné votre Moulinex?
Je ne peux pas, moi je dis bien, je dis le dit et vous comprenez bien dans le sens de Moulinex. Je dis bien, le maintien de l'ordre, c'est ça le Moulinex. Donc, ceux qui défient l'autorité de l'État, les bandits de grand chemin, ceux qui prêchent le chaos, l'insurrection, nous les considérons comme des condiments. Vous comprenez bien le langage.
Est-ce que ce n'est pas exagéré?
C'est pas exagéré, je dis bien, chacun ne récoltera que ce qu'il aura sémé. Nous sommes dans un processus électoral. Quand vous dites par exemple que vous allez mourir et les survivants vont arranger le pays, nous allons croire.
So you heard Atanga Ponji. Atanga Ponji has told Kamto that fire that you promised we will meet it with fire. Fire for fire. Fire for fire. So Atanga Ponji has told Maurice Kamto, that thing that you promised to bring it to the table. We are ready for you. So right now, you will say Atanga Ponji 1, Maurice Kamto 0. Atango. I told you people Atango will help us to finish the work in La République du Cameroon for us. Oh yes. You see, I said Atanga Ponji went to the website of his ministry, updated the website to remove the document he himself signed and placed there, indicating that Anise Ekane was the only recognized leader of the Manidem. But when the Manidem presented Maurice Kamto as candidate, Atanga Ponji updated it and removed it and replaced it with a new document signed shamelessly here to say that the only recognized leader of the Manidem now is the player Yepga. Because when Anise Ekane will go before the Constitutional Council to protest, the decision of Elekan, they will tell him there that, oh, unfortunately, you do not have the local standing. Some people thought that they were doing that so that they will validate the candidature of Yepga. No, it's so that at this stage, going to the Constitutional Council, it is Yepga who will come in to say he accepts the decision of Elekan. And he is the only authorized voice of the Manidem. And Anise Ekane will now be told that he does not have the local standing. He is incompetent to bring that case before the Constitutional Council because he is not the leader of the Manidem. And so that is why a gentleman, Jean-Bruno Tanya, I don't know if they're not going to send out his own arrest warrant. Of course, it's of Bamileke extraction. It's from the West. So it's just but normal that I should say this. I don't know why they have not issued his own arrest warrant. I guess he should be on the way. Because the manhunt for Bamileke has started. He says, pour avoir grossièrement falsifié les informations sur le site web du MINAT, Atanga doit être poursuivi pour faux et usage du faux. Il y a des limites à l'imposture. Who will install those limits? Jean-Bruno Tanya. You people spend time condemning the people of the Southern Cameroons for standing up for what they believe in, for standing up for our right, for standing up to protect our interests. You all condemned us. You all said all kinds of inanities. Now, it's your turn. Are the Babas. For those of you who do not know why Atanga Ponji is acting the way he's acting, for those of you who do not know why Atanga Ponji can kill himself in broad daylight to make sure that Biya stays in power, listen to Mesanga Nyamding. Mesanga Nyamding says it very clear. He says, they in the CPDM, sometimes they sit and they will imagine that Atanga Ponji has gone too far. But at the same time, they are bound to understand Atanga Ponji. He says Minister Atanga Ponji is a very calm and friendly person if you meet him one-on-one. But it is because he is afraid that President Paul Biya might be knocked out of power. And that makes him act the way he is acting. Because he says we in the ruling party may not accept it in public. But sometimes when I sit quietly, I seriously fear for what might become of me. And some of us, if ever President Paul Biya left power. Have you got it now? So this is the thing. This is the thing. When you see all those people, those members of the CPDM crime syndicate in the southern Cameroons, who have facilitated the killing of their own sons and daughters fighting to protect even their own interests, who allow themselves to be humiliated any kind of way, people like John Gute, who allow themselves to be trampled upon, is because they all fear what would happen to them if Paul Biya ever left power. So all of what they are doing is not in the interest of anybody. It's not in the interest of development, because there's no development happening. It's not because they are so patriotic that they want to contribute in building the country. No, there is no patriotism involved here. There's just one reason. One reason. One. That reason is because what you call fear of the unknown. They don't know what can happen to them. They don't know what can happen to them. What will happen to them if at all this Ngaput called Paul Biya happened to leave power? That is why they will do everything to swear that Paul Biya is still alive. That is why if Paul Biya at 120 is still breathing only with the left nostril and just shaking one eye, Atanga upon Jerry Slot will do everything for him to remain president in La République du Cameroun. You heard it very well. You heard it all right. That's all it is. My dear people of Amazonia, thank you so much for being part of this broadcast. And as I said, share the link, share as much as you can. I'll be back on this platform very regularly, beginning now. I mean, from this moment onward, I'll be very regular here because a lot of things are going to be happening, and a lot of things are going to be happening very fast, and I will make sure you don't miss an inch of what is happening. I say I will make sure you don't miss an inch of what is happening. So stay tuned to the JMA connection, and especially share the link of this communication as much as you can. And however you can, do something, contribute to keep our liberation movement alive. Thank you, everyone. To God be the glory.